You're listening to the Michael Baisden Show podcast.
Thank you all for tuning to the Michael Baisden Show. The hot topic today, we're talking about, of course, light skin, dark skin. We're talking about skin tone. We're talking about the definition of beauty. What are you thanking me for, George?
Oh, I thought you was introing me. Dark skin.
As a dark skin guy.
Yeah.
And, I wanted to do this, obviously, as Black History Month, but also it's just ever since the Spike Lee movie and even beyond that, this whole issue of skin color has been an issue and still is an issue right now. Men still choose women. Women still choose men based on skin color. It's still an issue.
Isn't it sad that we live in society where we as Black people worry about being scrutinized by whites and everything else, but yet we scrutinize the hell out of each other? Mm-hmm. So but there's a lot.
It's all part of it. I mean, that's part of self-hatred. It's one of the reasons when the Cosby Show first came out, it was so important because there were so many shades in that one family, and that's really how we are.
That's true. And
I can tell that you and Tanisha kind of, despise yourselves with how light you all are, but I'm glad you're working on it.
Thanks, George.
I'm glad you're working on it.
Appreciate the support.
Right. Thank you so much for that. And also redefining beauty in general, man. What is beauty to you? Do you see Black as unattractive? Do you see white as more attractive? Are we choosing our partners based on that? Are we trying to have these mixed kids to have attractive kids with good hair? Is this still going on? Ladies and gentlemen, it was a great conversation to have during Black History Month or anytime. Let's get into your calls right now on the Michael Baisden Show. Yes, beauty, man. Beauty is only skin deep, but unfortunately, man, the way the world sees many of our women of color, they don't see it as beauty. I was watching a video recently, The Breakfast Club. I got to give them some love. They had a young lady on. I wish I could find the actual. She was.
I know the Dominican girl that people are questioning.
Amara La
her.
Negra.
Mm-hmm.
Say it again, Dominique.
Amara La Negra. She's actually Honduran. Yeah.
Did you see the interview, Dominique?
I did not, but I've been reading about the controversy because a lot of people don't want to let her claim Black because she's Afro-Latino, which is very ignorant because Black people are all over the world and they are all descendants of Africa, and they have no less claim on Blackness than any of us.
So to my Latinas out there who are listening, my Hispanic family, regardless of your ethnicity, even when you talk about Jamaica, people don't understand. You got Asian Jamaicans, you got light-skinned Jamaicans, you got dark-skinned Jamaicans. And what she was saying in her interview was that still, no matter what the culture, darker-skinned people at the bottom of the totem pole, they don't get the work, they don't get the recognition. They're the last ones to get hired on the sets. This has got to change, man. We're going to talk about beauty in all color spectrums, man. Call in right now. I want to talk to the men. Let me talk to my brothers. When I say my brothers, I'm talking about my white brothers, my Asian brothers, my Native American brothers. I'm talking about my Latino brothers. Are we still, I know the answer is yes, are we still, many of us, choosing women based on their skin tone? Do we still see lighter skinned women as more beautiful? Don't get me wrong. I find beauty in all women, regardless of the fact they're multicultural or not. But are we still seeing Black women, I got to say this with passion and love, as less beautiful, as less desirable, as less valuable? Hit me up right now on the Michael Baisden Show. I want to get into this. Dominique, I know you can relate, even though you're light-skinned. Tanisha, you're mixed, you're Mexican and
Black and white.
And so for you, beauty, you got a natural afro.
Yes, I do.
Beauty for you. Let's talk about it real quick.
To me, it's about being who you are. And unfortunately, through my life, I got a lot of flack for being light-skinned, not being Black enough.
How about that?
So it's been a hard thing. And then when I wear my afro, people question me, are you trying to be blacker? Wow. I'm like, no, I'm trying to be me.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is about
I'm mixed, too.
George.
I am.
What do you mix with, George?
I'm mixed with a Black mama and a Blacker daddy.
You're listening to the Michael Baisden Show, family, sponsored by VideoPitch.com. If you have a story, a talent, or a business to promote, and I'll share with my 5 million monthly users. And here's the best part. You get paid to do it. Log on to VideoPitch.com now and become a contributor. That's VideoPitch.com. Now back to the Michael Baisden Show. On the phone line with us right now, we got Nina. Nina, how you doing?
I'm great. How are you guys doing?
Good. Talk to me about the issue of skin color.
I believe that a lot of the men nowadays, honestly, are going toward the darker skinned girls. Growing up, it was a little mix. But I've actually dealt with me being a brown skin. I'm like dead smack in the middle. I have run into a lot of men who actually prefer darker women. Like, I'm too light for them at times, and I found it kind of shocking, and it might have hurt my feelings a little bit, but I understand because my mom is dark-skinned. I'm just of Creole, so I kind of vary a little bit, but, my mom is dark, and I think darker the berry, the sweeter the juice, and I've always been attracted to darker, yeah.
So, Dominic, go ahead, George.
No, I was going to say that at times, like fashion trends come in and out. I believe perhaps even skin tone and that stuff kind of is faddish. And El DeBarge and those guys had their day, and dark skinned guys now are kind of,
Christopher
more
Williams,
fashionable.
they all gone.
Dominique said that she thought a lot of women who were light-skinned, her light-skinned friends, preferred dark-skinned men. Talk to me about that,
Yeah,
Dominique.
I think that's very much the case. A lot of lighter women do gravitate toward dark-skinned men. And, I also have noticed what you're saying, that a lot of men now like darker women. I'm not mad. We have our light-skin privilege, so,
Yeah, but the blacker the berry, the sweetest juice. And the caller
I think
said
we're
that,
all beautiful, Dominique.
Yeah, I done gave some people sugar diabetes. You understand what I'm saying?
There you go.
You'll be on insulin messing with me. You understand me?
Oh my God.
Nina, thank you so much for that, man. I agree. I think that finally it's being recognized in the media. They started using a lot of more dark-skinned models in their ads. Go ahead.
And not only that, of course, the push for Black Girl Magic, Black Girls Rock. I think there's more positive images out there showing beautiful women of all shades. And
you're
we
going to
just
need
more of
black
that.
girls to promote all of that black this, black that. You need some actual black girls to be a part of it.
On the phone line with us right now, Terry. How you doing?
I'm doing quite well. I mean, I can't complain at all.
You find beauty in all women, don't you, Terry?
I sure do. I mean, I find beauty in all women, but I agree with that last caller. The blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice, and I just believe in. I mean, I'm black and I'm proud, and I mean,
Do you choose,
I
though?
got
When
black sisters. I got a black mama. Well, if I had a choice, the women that I approach are dark-skinned women. I mean, I like them purple. I mean, for as they go, they can be blue. So that's my preference. I mean, but I think the blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice. I wouldn't trade them. I wouldn't trade my black women for nothing in the world.
Do you do understand that a lot of women feel like darker-skinned women feel like they're being looked over for light-skinned women? You do believe that that's happening, right?
I believe that right there, and I also believe that a lot of light-skinned women that feel that way might be intimidating to a lot of men because they love more snobbier.
And here we go.
Oh,
Here we go.
He said it.
Wow.
He did say
That
it.
was him.
He said it on national radio. Sir, I want to make sure I get this loud and clear because I can see women fuming all across the country, even some of the women on hold right now. You said, I want to make sure we're clear, is it the reality or the perception that light-skinned women are more snobbish?
Yeah, because that stereotype's been around for a long time.
I believe it's the reality myself.
Wow.
Well,
You know
Wow.
what? Can I
Terry.
say this? When I was in high school, I used to get that all the time as if I thought I was better than others. But little did people know I wanted to be darker. I wished my skin was darker. I thought beautiful women were the darker shades, and I always longed for that. So I never looked at other women that were dark skinned and was like, oh, I'm better than you, or I'm more desirable.
Go ahead, real quick, Miles.
there's actually a lot of women in my generation, at least, from both sides that try to live up to what the stereotypes are for them.
Give me an example.
Like some light-skinned women that are in my generation try to be snobby, and some dark-skinned women try to fit into that more aggressive stereotype as well. So that's what TV does to you guys. Yep. Yep.
Nice, man.
That was good,
nice
man.
Nugget.
Hey,
Nice nugget.
Terry, thank you so much, man, for being a part of the conversation, man. You really flipped the script on us. Olivia, where you calling us from?
Washington, D.C.
What do you say about this? Talk to me.
I can definitely say that the stereotypes are true. Being from the city and being the ex-wife of somebody from Alabama, getting to see some of those stereotypes up front. I'm a dark-skinned woman. I'm dark like chocolate, and I love the color of my skin. And it's always been that way. But unfortunately, you do get those stereotypes. And I've had people tell me, oh, well, for a dark-skinned girl, you're beautiful. Well, do I have to be light-skinned in
That's
order to be
right.
beautiful? You know what I mean? So the stereotypes are definitely there, and it's up to us to break those stereotypes.
That is so interesting you said that because I can imagine a lot of people saying you're really pretty for a dark-skinned woman.
Definitely. And I've heard
but that's
people
for decades. That's nothing new. That's been something that's been said for a long, long time, and I just think that is dying. Just like a lot of other stereotypes.
I hope it is. Go ahead, Tanisha.
But it's like that whole thing with the red bones, right? Where guys are very like, oh, the red bone, as if it's a trophy to have a girl that's light skinned and it's a nickname. But when it comes to the darker woman, what is the cute nickname that
No,
is
it's still
given
good to
there?
have a red bone. I'm just kidding.
you
It's
know
a
what?
joke. It's a joke.
Olivia, let me ask you this: being dark-skinned, do you find that sometimes men approach you because you're dark and they want the quote-unquote exotic experience?
Yeah. People say that they do like how exotic I'm looking, but then I also date a lot of men who say I usually don't date dark-skinned girls. So, I mean, you can take it both ways.
Look, as long as you're loving that dark skin, I certainly do.
No.
I love women of all shades.
I like it. I'm real dog, too. Be quiet,
George,
Mike. I got
George,
this. I'm real dog, too.
So here's
Wait a minute.
If electricity go out, we'd be lost.
George.
Have to find each other.
Olivia, I love you. Thanks for calling. I'm getting into this music, man. Olivia, thank you for calling out of Mary Mad Love to WHR 96.3. One Nation, One Station. This is the Michael Bader Show. Love you, Olivia. Mwah. On the phone line with us right now, Sharon's been on hold. Sharon, how you doing? Let's talk about loving the skin we're in.
Listen, I love my chocolateness, but my favorite color is George.
Oh,
man.
Oh, my goodness.
So you grew up as a dark-skinned lady.
Yes, sir.
And what was that experience like for
And
you?
I had minor issues in school as I was too dark with the pigtails, and my mother did the Afro puff. I told them, no, I'm not too dark. I'm just different and better than you.
I heard that.
That's what I'm talking about.
It's all about having pride, isn't it? And who taught you that? Because this is a very important thing that parents need to instill this into their daughters. It's critical. What do you say
And your
about
sons.
that? Yeah, and sons. Thank you, George.
It was my grandmother and my mom, because there was a lot of us in our area that had to go through it. But a lot of parents, even younger then, they wanted to get their kids bleached. Like, are you serious?
Yep.
Why can't you teach them to love themselves? Like, even now, I'm a grandma. I make black dolls for my granddaughter.
Good for you. Hey, Sharon, I don't know if you saw.
I want them to love them.
I don't know if you saw this report of what's
News.
going on in Africa. Yes. Oh, man, about the bleaching that's going on in Africa. I mean, we're talking about African women not loving their black skin. And Dominique, we talked about the cultural issues when it comes to skin tone with Latinos as well.
Yeah, well, the skin bleaching thing is a worldwide phenomenon. I mean, yes, it's $1 billion industry in Africa, but even among Latinos, they'll be called Indio or Moreno, which means dark skin, and that's a put down, as opposed to when you look on TV in Mexico or other parts of Latin America, everybody's blonde.
Yeah, you're talking about it's a lot of young people are glad to be natural now. It's a different thing with the different generation, Tanisha.
Yeah, we were talking about as far as natural hair is concerned. A lot of women have transitioned into natural hair and loving their kinks and curls. I remember the same thing for me. I used to relax, but then I realized my natural hair is beautiful.
Sharon, wrap this up for us. What do you want to say to everybody out there dealing with this issue with skin color?
Be yourself or be by yourself. Love yourself.
That's my girl. Way to put it out there. Sharon, where you calling us from?
I'm calling from Georgia, and I'm so glad y'all back. I was miserable when y'all was off the
We're glad we're back too, baby.
How kind of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sharon. Georgia shutting it down on the Michael Bader Show.
You're listening to the Michael Baisden Show, family, sponsored by VideoPitch.com. If you have a story, a talent, or a business to promote, and I'll share with my 5 million monthly users. And here's the best part. You get paid to do it. Log on to VideoPitch.com now and become a contributor. That's VideoPitch.com. Now back to the Michael Baisden Show.
What's up, Willie?
What's up, Willie?
Family,
How you doing, man?
I'm doing outstanding. Me, my preference, the lighter the better.
Tell me why.
Me, in all honesty,
That's honest.
it really doesn't matter what skin color that they are, as long as they're happy with themselves. But my preference is lighter skinned women. I'm more of a pecan tan brother, and I don't have nothing against dark skinned women. It's just not my preference.
So light is white?
Oh yeah, I mean whatever, as long as it's light.
I got a question. I got a question for Willie. I got a
question
question for Willie and for George. Is there anything wrong with a man having a preference for a light-skinned woman? Does that mean that he does not love black women? Let me ask Willie that.
Not.
It doesn't mean that, right, Willie?
Not in my opinion, it doesn't.
Right. It doesn't matter what complexion you are. It's just what you attracted
It's
to.
a preference.
He
said a preference.
Me personally, I've dealt with so many black women. I won't date a black woman anymore.
Whoa.
See, now you're going into a whole different situation.
Now I'm out, Will.
Well, stop you. You don't know his past, though. You don't know what he's been through. You can't judge him like that.
It doesn't.
Come on now.
Doesn't matter.
Hold on, Tanisha, go ahead.
Okay, so you're saying because of your past with dark-skinned women or black women, then now you're just all turned off by all dark-skinned women?
Right.
Right, just black women, not dark skinned women. Just I don't deal with black women. They've been in my past. They've been too bossy and too controlling, and
Stereotype.
I believe in today's age is go where you're appreciated, not tolerated.
Willie, you know what a stereotype
Wow.
is, right?
Oh yeah,
That's a stereotype.
That's his experience.
Experience.
All of us have bad experiences in relationships, and we could all write off. I'm going to write off all men. I'm going to write off all young men, all old men.
Absolutely.
We can't stereotype a whole group of people just because we have a bad experience. It's not fair.
And to his point, I'm just playing host here. It's his preference. But it's
It's
built,
his prejudice.
It's his prejudice on top
And
of
it
his
is
preference.
prejudice.
Thank you very much.
Just saying.
Willie, let me say
Thank you.
goodbye to
And it is
Willie.
prejudice.
Willie, thank you so much for calling into the show, man. I appreciate you. Your honesty is
Needed.
abrasive, but guess what? It's needed to continue the conversation. One nation, one
And
station.
it's welcome.
Curry's on the phone right now. Curry, how are you, man? Thanks for calling in.
All right, I'm doing fine, Mike. Thanks for having me.
Give me your thoughts, brother. Talk to me.
Well, I'll tell you like this. I'm a dark-skinned brother. I'm chocolate, and I love my chocolate sisters. I mean, when it comes down to, your color and everything, you're supposed to be happy, in the skin that you're in. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, those that, swear up and down that, lighter is better, I just think they're color struck because that's just a stereotype. I mean, if you're a sister, you're a sister. You're supposed to be happy with what you are. And same thing for the brothers, just the same. I mean, I'm like this, the blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice.
You think about it, it's not just a color thing, and we were talking about this, Tanisha and Dominica now off the air. It's also a hair thing. Because women not only are not loving their skin, they're not loving their hair. And that's something I'm loving this natural hair movement that's changing, Tanisha. It's a big deal.
And so let me tell you, for me, it took a while because I used to put the weaves in and everything else, and that's fine. Do what you want to do. But it was because I didn't love my hair in its natural state. I was taught at a young age that it was ugly. And that's what young girls are taught, is that kinky curls, nappy hair is ugly. They put relaxers in. Actually, when I was 5, my dad held me down and they shaved my hair off. And I remember crying, kicking, and screaming because they didn't want to have to manage my hair because it was too hard.
Curry, there's some brothers that need a relaxer. Now, LeBron,
stop.
Durant, they can use just a tap. Just tap it, just run it through one time.
Stop it, George.
Curry, when we talk about dating our sisters, be they Latino sisters, white sisters, whatever, the hair is an issue. I got to be honest with you. I pray that more women would just wear their natural hair. I really do. I don't judge them if they don't, but I would love it if they do. Does it matter to you, the hair, Curry?
No, I mean, I'll tell you like this. My wife, she's been natural now for the last 7 years, and she looks beautiful, because it goes back to our roots. And just like Tanisha said, the bad thing is that, we're taught that having our hair in our natural state is ugly. Is wrong. She's right. But see, that's the problem. And we get away from our natural roots thinking that. I mean, hey, you can wear your hair whatever way you want, but at the same token, appreciate and be happy, where you come from.
I think that's the difference. It's a lack of appreciation for who we are naturally, man. Thank you for calling in. Dominique, of course, you have a son. Tanisha, you have a child. Talk to me, Dominique, about the importance of transferring positive messages to your children.
Yeah, I mean, we want to teach them that they're beautiful, and I think our kids love themselves a little more than we do with the natural hair and everything. But since my son was little, I always wanted to influence him. I was in his ear. If we'd see pictures of girls in a magazine, I'd say, "Ooh, look at the pretty one," and I'd always point to the darker woman, not because I'm prejudiced, but because I wanted to counteract all of the messages that he's getting in ads and on television.
And you still see it today, man. You still see the flowing hair and all that. I would love to see when the Miss America. What was it? We had her on Miss Jamaica.
Miss Jamaica.
Oh, you remember Miss Jamaica, didn't you?
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, when she rocked that afro, man, it made me feel proud, man. It did.
And you know what? My kids, when they were watching television, we started making them watch the Cosby Show because they couldn't see reflections truly of themselves. Now, Princess Tiana came out, but what was she doing? Serving white folk at the party.
You went there.
And she borrowed a dress to look like a princess with her
That's
friend.
true.
And this is the truth. So we got to make sure the images that we
there.
show our kids are positive ones.
I took my little niece out to see that movie because I wanted to, and I blew it up on the radio.
Yeah.
We got John on right now. John, thanks for holding, man. Talk to me. What's on your mind?
Yeah, man. I honestly feel like as far as the loving the skin that you're in, because my ex-wife, real light-skinned young lady, but my current wife is a dark-skinned young lady, and it's not the skin color that matters. It's all about the person. You know what I'm saying? Because you could be light-skinned or dark-skinned, but you could be an ugly individual as well.
That's true.
But my personal preference is being yourself. If you light-skinned, embrace that. If you're a dark-skinned brother or sister, you have to embrace that. Because we have to be the example for our children.
John, I'm curious. You did not. We talked to Willie earlier, and I still got issues with Willie. I think there's some real prejudice going on there. When you met these different women, one is light, one is dark, you weren't trying to look for a dark or light-skinned woman, were you?
No, absolutely not. I am a big advocate on being with somebody who can better my life and make me feel as if, I don't have to search for those things. So in that sense, I'm kind of colorblind.
For the men out there listening to this, and I got to ask you all a question as men, and I'll ask the women this as women of color. Black women, because of the way society has degraded them, I'm just going to call it what it is. I think that many times black men buy into the negative stereotypes of black women as black men.
Absolutely.
I hear black men talking negatively about black women. I have said negative things about black women. I think that we all have. And I think that it's time for us to ask ourselves a question. Do we have an obligation as black men to love black women first? Not to love them only, but to love them first. They're the last to marry. They're the last to be chosen. They're not preferred by a lot of men, not the darker skinned women, not in general.
Sure.
And I'm asking us as black men in the studio, should we have an obligation to date, marry, make children with, and take care of our black women? To you, George, first.
First of all, I say yes. Now, obviously, you need to have obligation to happiness, but yes, I think you should seek a black woman first. And I think you have an obligation to. And I think you also have an obligation to find a white woman who understands that.
You know what?
What a setup. As a young man, Miles, real quick, because I want to talk to Alana.
I say that's a double standard because a lot of people aren't obligated to date women in general. You can be gay and,
We're not talking about that. We're talking about heterosexual.
Still no.
I say yes.
Yeah.
I say, I'm not saying only. I'm saying if you can find a black, they're not being chosen first. The media has done such a great job. History has done such a great job of putting black women down that we're starting to see them as a lesser choice and the other women as prizes. Now, I've dated women of all races, but I'm going to tell you, man, that as a black man, looking at the condition of these beautiful black women who are alone, that yes, we should try. We should try, not go out or travel around the world to do it. But if we have an opportunity to date a sister, we should choose a sister.
Well,
That's
I don't
all
know
I'm
what
saying.
I don't know what my true opinion is, but I know what my track record is.
You listen to the Michael Baisden Show, family, sponsored by VideoPitch.com. If you have a story, a talent, or a business to promote, and I'll share with my 5 million monthly users. And here's the best part. You get paid to do it. Log on to VideoPitch.com now and become a contributor. That's VideoPitch.com. Now back to the Michael Baisden Show.
Lana's on right now. I'm sure many of them do. Alana, thanks for calling. What's on your mind?
I was just calling in because I'm a fairly light-skinned black woman.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was younger, my mother, who was much darker than me, would give me lightening cream. And she would have me apply it every night. And she wanted me to be lighter. And I didn't like the way it felt. Sometimes it burned. It was uncomfortable on my skin. And I got to the point where I had to hide the tubes from her because I love my skin. To this day, I love my skin. Even if I get a blemish or because sometimes I get hyperpigmentation, I don't care. I don't wear makeup. I don't hide it. I don't try to make myself lighter, darker, anything like that. I love the way that I look. I appreciate what I see in the mirror. So I don't know why she used to do that. Now, I think maybe it was her own complex because, like I said, she is a darker woman. Mm-hmm. But I just never understood it, and I never, to this day, use that product. I see it in the stores, and I never have I never need to buy it. I never have a want.
This is what I'm saying about the imaging. about the media. This is why Dominique went out of her way to point out to her son in the magazine, who may have chosen the lighter skinned women as beautiful. We've all seen these tests that's been done on television where the children see the white child as beautiful and the black child as evil and bad.
That's true. And you know what? My son, he came home from the playground once because the friends would not play with him because they said he was black. So he wanted to change his skin to white. This is my son is not that. My son is 11 years old. So this happened when he was around 6. He came home and said, "Mom, I want to be white," because his kids said they wouldn't play with him. So we had to teach him to love himself and talk about that. But I will tell you this. Kenny's mother, my husband's mom, did not want him to marry me. You know why?
Why?
Because I was light skinned.
What?
Because she's dark skinned and she wanted her son to marry someone who was blue black. And when my child was born, she said she was going to bring markers to the hospital. But she was making a joke, but you know.
It wasn't funny to you, I'm
It is
sure.
not
No, it
funny.
wasn't.
It's not funny. Alana, anything you want to say to wrap this up, you want to say to the parents out there?
I don't have kids. Let me put that out there. I have plenty of nieces and nephews, and I tell them to just love themselves for who they are.
Of course.
You don't need to cover up who you are. You don't need to hide. You need to let your light shine and be proud at all times of who you are. As long as you are a good person, you have a good heart, your beauty will shine no matter what.
That's what I'm talking about. One of only few black positive shows that we had on television. You have to actually have to tell your kids. White families have to tell their kids, watch this. All black people are not like that. Tanisha, you have to do the same thing with your son. It's just an incredible story I heard about Alana, if you all just tuned in, who said that her mother bleached her skin as a child. This is the kind of madness that's going on if you're just tuning in. We talked about this earlier, about how in Africa, and Dominique, we talked about even in Haiti and all these other countries, that the light skin thing is a big thing culturally. Touch on that again for the folks who aren't here.
In Haiti, in Puerto Rico, in Cuba, in Mexico. I mean, it's the idea that light is white, is closer to white and better. That is a universal thing, shadism. And, you know, hopefully we're moving away from it worldwide, too, you know?
It's happening in India, too, Dominique.
Yes.
And my friend, I told you as an infant, her mom would put cream on her to lighten her because she was a dark-skinned Indian woman.
Did you say an infant?
Yeah, as an infant. And let me say this in regards to my mother-in-law. Let me clear the air real quick. She did want her son to marry a dark-skinned woman because she's dark-skinned. But it goes back to when she was younger because her mother thought she was not attractive because she was dark-skinned and her mom was lighter.
Oh, my
so she
goodness.
brought that
She
color
brought that up.
issue into
Yes, she
our
did.
relationship.
Pat, what do you say, man? You've been holding for a while. I appreciate you. What's going on?
Well, I'm very light-skinned, but I always wish I was jet black. As that when I dated in the 70s, if I was in a car with a guy, a police would pull us over and shine the flashlight in there and ask me if I was okay.
Wow.
Thinking that this black guy had, you know, taken me or something. And I had to go through that every time I went somewhere, you know, and I hate that. And my granddaughter, when she was born, she see me as orange. So she calls me in her cell phone. She's got orange grandmama.
So did you, Dominique said that a lot of her light-skinned friends date darker-skinned men. Did you find yourself dating darker-skinned men?
Now, my husband was dark, and I remember the day I delivered my daughter, and she was so light-skinned, and I heard the nurses whispering.
Like
they were
there
like,
wasn't a
you
child.
You should see that daddy.
Yep.
You know, and it's like,
Go ahead, Dominique.
No, that kind of happened to me too because my husband is more mocha, my son's father, and my son is very, very light. So when he came out so light, you know, people were talking.
George.
Is that right?
George. Thank you so much, Alana. Thank you.
He's so crazy.
Thank you so much, Pat. Thanks for calling. I appreciate you. Oh my God. Take care, Pat. Ladies and gentlemen, she's been holding on for a while. Angela, thanks for your patience. Where you calling us from?
Georgia.
It's all about loving the skin that you're in. Talk to me about being light or dark skinned, whether you're a man or a woman or whether or not you're raising children. What's up?
Well, you know, I am a dark-skinned woman, and I am so grateful that God made me who I am, because I really think that black women, we are beautiful. I don't care, fat, skinny, tall, short.
That's right.
We are some beautiful creatures that God has made.
No doubt.
But the thing about it is this: if we're not as beautiful as the world see us, why do the other races want to be dark like us?
Well said. Well said.
So I got a question for you, Angela. I asked this question earlier. Do you think black men should have I hate to use the word obligation, but I got to call it what it is an obligation to date and marry black women?
Well, we all have our preferences, and we're all prejudiced in our own way. But for our black brothers to want to have a Caucasian sister or a Puerto Rican lady or what have you, to me, it's about control. We as black women are very strong, backbone women, and sometimes our brothers can't take it. So sometimes, they try to stay out the box because they don't want to deal with what's real, and that's us black women. So, hey, if that's their preference, that's up to them, but they just don't know what they're missing out on.
I heard that. And the reason why I asked that question, Angela, and to everybody else listening to my voice right now, I'm very passionate about this. Yes, love whoever you want to love. I'm the person who promotes that more than anybody else. But if we don't prefer and put our women first, who will?
Right. Who will? And
who will?
The thing about it is our sisters, our black sisters, because I'm thinking to the other side, we don't really that strong foundation from our black brothers because they feel that, okay, well, I don't want to be bothered, I don't want to be nagged because they are strong-minded we are, and we're not going to take a lot of stuff that the other, race may.
Let me say this. I got to say this. And while you're busy being strong, the love is strong from a sister, too. It's just different. I've dated women of all cultures, and it's great. All love is great love. Don't get me wrong, but I would be remiss.
Go through something and see if you want a sister by your side. I mean, go through something. Now, it might have been a sister that did it to you, but go through something.
Angela, thank you so much for calling. I love you, sister. Thank you so much for being a part of the show.
Thank you. Thank you.
George ain't got no sense.
Thanks, family, for listening to the Michael Basin Show podcast, sponsored by VideoPitch.com. Go to VideoPitch.com now and be a part of our growing community of writers, video producers, and filmmakers, and get paid to share your business, opinion, and talent with the world. That's VideoPitch.com. Write it down, family. Write it down. VideoPitch.com.